these two mangoes. Oh, he was the hitman actually.
So all you have to do is just demonstrate the sport, and then the rest of us will try to guess what sport you're doing.
We need to see the plant.
He just DM'd
My name's Charlie. I'm from London.
I feel like we can get a lot of traction.
Your MVP is basically your website.
I contacted about 15 people online.
We got 9 sales. We made a flyer and we're like sending it out.
Emily was going down to Disney and marketing like in person.
We could reach out to 20 people.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Hello, how are you doing? Can you hear me okay? Can you put in the chat if you can hear me okay, if everything is great? Perfect. Thank you very much. Awesome. So good to see you here. My name is Adok Cervantes. I am the managing director here at LinkGap, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to LinkGap Online 2025. Now, what you're about to see here is real. You're about to see young entrepreneurs launch something into the real world and start getting traction, customers, feedback, collision with the real world. A lot of the work that we do at LinkGap is based on a real startup incubator. You know, like any other startup business incubator out there for adults, like Y Combinator, like Techstars, like all the other ones. And we base the work that we do at LinkGap, we based it on all the adult startup incubators out there. So the work that you're going to see here is very similar to what adults like you or me will be able to do when they join a startup incubator. They have gone through hardships, they have gone through frustrations, they have gone through sadness, anger, joy, all the emotions that a human has when starting a business. So everything you're about to see here is real. I want to make an emphasis on that because LinkGap is so different from a regular summer program for high school students. We don't treat our students as teenagers or kids or anything because just like you and me, adults, they can achieve great things. And if they're doing that at 15, 16, 14, 17, imagine what they will do when they are our age. And it's been such an amazing ride to see them work, to see them have fun. You just saw on the video, they had fun. They had an amazing time because a lot of the part of what comprises LinkGap is the network, the people that we get to know, the people that accompany us through our journey, the co-founders and everything. And just like in real life, they have co-founder issues. They have just issues like that's the only thing that I can say about that. Now, it's been such an amazing journey to do this since 2015 when we started, and every year we get, every single year we get over 2,000 applications from 20 plus countries. That's a lot. That amounts to around a 4% admittance rate, even lower than most colleges out there. But those 2,000 applications don't just represent, applications themselves like paper. They represent 2,000 ideas, 2,000 startups, 2,000 teenagers, but more importantly, 2,000 dreams. 2,000 dreams that we've helped shape every single year. Because even when we cannot take someone because we are at capacity or something, we try to give them feedback as a way to allow them to grow so that we can see them back next year. And it's been an amazing journey, like I've said, since 2015, when we started with 40 teenagers back in Boston. That's where we had our first LinkGap, and some of the mentors here are still with us, And every single year, it's such a different adventure because every single year we have different people. When the pandemic hit, we had an option, right? Do we cancel this or do we continue to do it online? We were not sure if it was going to work, but just like entrepreneurs, we jumped and the net appeared. And it appeared for the next year and the next year as well. And it's been appearing since then. We came back to in person in 2023, and it's been such a joy to see them in person, to how they interact as well. And now it's the time for the 2025 online cohort, which has been completely amazing. Now, these students will experience what a collision with the real world means, what real feedback means. Our judges will not treat them like kids or like teenagers or go soft on them. This is the first time that these kids, these students, these teenagers will face the real world. And to do that, we have three amazing people. We have Kristen Chen. She is the former CEO of TopGG, which is the largest search and discovery platform for Discord, with millions of users. Now, before that, she worked as a chief product officer at MetaTheory and director of product management at SoundCloud. She has held management roles at Pinterest, Twitch, and LinkedIn. This is, I think it's the fourth year that Kristen Chen is being a judge. So thank you very much, Kristen, for that. Next, we have Cindy Zhang. She is a staff software engineer at Pinterest. If you're not familiar with the ranks of software engineers, staff is one of the highest, if not the highest, for a software engineer. She's building AI and visual search systems within Pinterest. She taught computer science and engineering at UC San Diego, and she's built products for Yahoo and HP as well. Thank you very much, Cindy, for being here. Last but not least, we have Keya Majmudar. She's the founder and CEO of Sway ID. She is disrupting Gen Z marketing, and she recently raised $4.2 million for her startup. She's a season 5 finalist, on the season finale of Shark Tank, where she closed a deal with Lori. Do you follow Shark Tank? Well, Lori has had a deal with Keya back then. Now, she has been featured in Forbes, Business Insider, and so many more publications that it's just too short of a time to mention them all. So thank you very much, judges, for being here. Now, these judges will award 2 categories. The first one is Best Pitch, where they will award this particular title to the company that has the best storytelling throughout. A company may have good or bad traction, a company may have a good or bad product even, but if the storytelling tracks, if the storytelling tells a compelling emotional story, then it will attract a lot of investors, a lot of customers. So they award that to this company that shows that they can storytell, that they can connect to the emotions. The second and last title that they will award is called Most Outstanding Company. Now, Most Outstanding Company means that the company, in comparison to others in the industry, within a 4-week period, they accomplished something great. Now, it's important for me to tell you that LinkUp is not a competition. LinkUp is not a competition. We all help each other. Competition is with ourselves. Competition is with other companies out there. Competition is with the industry, with the market. So the judges will take a look at each company and compare them to the same companies in their industry in what they have achieved in 4 weeks, not in comparison to each LinkUp company. Okay, this is very important for me to say. So if a company is named Most Outstanding, it doesn't mean that it's the better it's the best company in the cohort. It's just they achieved something amazing in their industry within a 4-week period, which, by the way, everything that you're about to see happened in just 4 weeks. That's it. Now, may I welcome the judges on the main stage, please. So if you can click the enter webinar button so that you can join me on stage here, please. Perfect. Hello, Kaya, hello, Kristen, and hello, Cindy. So there, please, students that will be first, I need you to raise your hand on the webinar so that we can pull you to the main stage, please. Okay, and that will take a minute, please. So give me 1 second while I do that. All right, Ryan, are you ready?
Good morning, judges. We are Dash, a track and field coaching app that is focused on empowering the next generation of track athletes. Did you know that there are 1.1 million track and field athletes that compete at the high school level in the United States? But of this 1.1 million, under 4% are able to compete at the collegiate level. It's a fact that sounds bad, but what does all of it mean? And what does Dash app have to do with it? Recruiting platforms report that over 75% of their athletes get recruited when they have coach involvement. That, coupled with the declining number of spots for athletes in college, makes accessibility to coaching highly valuable. This is because finding a good coach is difficult, time-consuming, and more importantly, expensive. This means that those with resources get the top opportunities, even if they aren't the best. Personally, I've had to search for months, scouring everywhere just to find a coach. I found one for $150 a month, which isn't cheap, but is the average for track and field athletes online.
So we plan to use AI to deliver personalized coaching at a fraction of the cost. What Dash app provides is not just a platform, but an opportunity for one to pursue their passions to pave the way for a brighter future. So how does all of this work? The user uploads a video from their training or competition, along with their name and information and the track event that they are uploading a video for. The footage is then analyzed by top-tier coaches, such as Coach Nick Newman of UCLA. You can see the process of the upload here. And each video has its own unique order number to help you keep track of it. Within 12 hours, feedback is given via email and it is then available for you to access.
If you will, picture this. It's 2026 and Dash has reached every nook and cranny in the world. Here's one of many stories that could come true with your support.
Meet Henry. Henry is a 16-year-old from Ghana who loves track but does not have access to coaching. However, one day, while watching TikTok, he found an advertisement for Dash. He decided to download it and give it a try. Little did he know, with Dash, he quickly improved his form and got noticed by schools with elite track and field programs such as Oregon, Duke, and USC. Statistically, Henry should not be in university, and his lack of access to coaching should limit his opportunities. Many think that Henry isn't supposed to be a track athlete, but that's where Dash is different. Dash believes in finding purpose through giving possibility. We want to see athletes like Henry thrive and change the sport of track and field for the better.
Today, we've had 25 users submit videos for free. Of these, we've had 6 downloads. That means about 1 of every 4 first-time users decided to download Dash. As of now, we've made about $36 in revenue. What does the future lie? Well, here's our roadmap. By the end of 2025, we plan to gain even more traction through marketing and enhancing the features of the app. During the second quarter of 2026, we will market and reach users around the world. Finally, Dash's ultimate goal is to improve the accessibility to opportunities for all by revolutionizing coaching. It's important to understand that Dash does have many competitors. But how is Dash different? Well, firstly, it is built by and for track athletes. It provides elite human-delivered feedback, plans to integrate advanced AI analysis with your funding, of course. And finally, Dash is mission-driven. We simply want to make elite coaching affordable and scalable worldwide.
Judges, we are seeking $80,000 for our company. Here's a rundown of what would happen with this money. So first off, we would spend the money developing the AI and the infrastructure of the app, gaining outreach through a global athlete access program. Next, we will be paying the elite coaches and refining the feedback system. we'll be partnering with companies such as New Balance and Nike, and the rest will go towards legal and business operations to ensure your investment is used most effectively.
Meet the team that will be taking these next steps alongside you. We're a team of both builders and athletes who've lived the problem firsthand. From struggling to find affordable coaching, to missing recruitment opportunities, to relying on outdated tools. That's why we are building Dash. But we're not just building a coaching app. We're creating a track and field coach for the world. We're using AI to revolutionize elite coaching for athletes who may have the talent, but not the access. With your investment, we can scale our vision and help millions unlock their untapped potential.
Thank you, judges, and let's run with Dash.
To dive in, I was wondering if you could explain in more detail exactly how you're leveraging AI as a competitive advantage. It wasn't super clear to me from your pitch. Specifically, how does this differ from your competitors? And also, let's say I upload a video into ChatGPT or Perplexity. What's really going to set your model and approach apart from the, existing models out there?
So at the moment, if you, let's say, you download an app like, let's say, I don't know, one of the apps that was in the slides, right? Like Oki, right? What they do is they record and replay footage, whereas Stride would use AI, and I'll tell you in a minute how that's different, right? So AI will analyze the biomechanics and give real-time feedback. Whereas if you upload it to one of these apps that replace footage, it'll just replay so you can analyze it yourself. And so that's one part. The next part is if you say put it in ChatGPT, right? It won't give you the exact angles. So for example, in form heavy events such as the long jump, right? I'm a long jumper myself, and I've done this myself. I've put videos into ChatGPT, and it's told me, yeah, this looks good, this doesn't, and it doesn't give me drill suggestions. And even if I ask for it, it doesn't know how to analyze the movement patterns or the joint angles, and that's what the AI we would integrate. That's the difference. So things like MediaPipe and OpenPose, they have the ability to sort of track those mechanics, whereas your average AI like ChatGPT just wouldn't. Maybe another one of my teammates could explain.
Yeah, so basically, ChatGPT isn't able to do video analysis, which is like the big difference. Like, you can't go to a regular AI. I don't think even Gemini can do. Gemini has a little bit, but it can't like piece it together without certain things like OpenPose and MediaPipe. Basically, ChatGPT and other big models that we use, they can't actually look at the video. Like if you upload it, they can look at the video and say, "Oh, these are the angles, and these are the problems you're having." They aren't able to actually do that yet, which is the problem that we're trying to fix right now.
Can I ask a question? I'm a really big fan of track. I went and saw the track and field trials, the Olympics trials in Oregon, I think, and then followed a bunch of the track runners after the Netflix show and everything. And one of the common things that I kind of recognized was how important it was to have a coach or somebody leading the charge in training these athletes who has a really, really impressive and respectable track record. So I'm just curious, like, I didn't hear anything from you guys at all about why you guys would be respectable, to be honest, in the field. So I'm just wondering if you have that or not. I mean, you might. I just didn't hear it.
Right. So a lot of the people in our group are athletes, but obviously we're just young athletes. I did reach out to a lot of coaches, sort of pitching the idea. Also, I spoke to some in person, and I was lucky enough to have a decent chat with Coach Nick Newman of UCLA, who is also at one point represented Great Britain. And so the idea is, we did mention it in the presentation, that we would use that feedback that he would give, or sort of the advice, and we would use that to train the AI model as well. Because although, I competed at New Balance Nationals as a freshman in Franklin Field as a non-American, that doesn't really make me a coach, right? But that's what we've done. We've reached out, we've gotten support, and we plan to utilize their skills.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question about how does the coaching output look like? So, for example, if I work with an actual coach, I feel like there's like a very structured, almost like a tracker, like to track your progress every time. So like the coach will like give you like suggestion, and then you will kind of improve. And coach is like with you there every single day, and like helping you like improve your form, etc. So I'm curious, like how in the app you're able to kind of track progress and help the user kind of progress every single time. Like, are you providing like feedback videos, or like what does the output kind of look like?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So what the output is like, well, at the moment, it's an email with drill suggestions, exercise suggestions shown in the presentation there, a quick rating, and suggestions of YouTube videos you could watch. But as we progress, we hope to include some of those features like the drill and exercise suggestions. But something that would change is that you will be able to store, well, actually you can in our MVP as well, store the video on a profile, so you can review past footage and also past feedback when we transition from having it external in an email to making it integrated into the app. So basically what you'll have is a sort of profile with, you can click on, oh, this video from, let's say, the 6th of March, let's see the feedback. And so you can see the progress on video and feedback, and the feedback would change. And even another feature we hope to implement that we did mention as well is a sort of recruitment feature. In the future, we want coaches to be able to see that profile, because that's really the pinnacle of opportunity for sportsmen. And so,
Yes.
Any last questions before we finish with Dash?
Yeah. Sorry, I had one more question.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with like the admissions process for athletes. But you said that like only a small fraction of the people who compete in high school get to make it onto a college team. And I'm wondering, like if they work with a physical coach, does that coach like sometimes have like connection to help them like get to the collegiate team? And like does that like connection kind of, is that like a big part in like the admissions process?
So, sorry, let me just see if I'm understanding the question correctly. You're asking if the relationship between the high school coach and college coach influences your ability to get in as an athlete.
Yeah, like having a physical coach who's like actually renowned, does that help like the connection there? Does that help with admissions?
That's definitely a possibility. But it's always stronger. You're always stronger as an athlete and as an applicant for university if your numbers are stronger. I know I'm currently in the recruiting process, and I go to boarding school in New England, and my coach might know some coaches, but that wouldn't help if my numbers were below a certain point. And especially as Dash progresses and we are helping people in outside of the States, outside of North America, I think that is sort of the only option, right? And it's not that Dash wants to replace coaches. It's that, Dash can be used alongside coaches to help with feedback. But Dash is an option, not the only option, if you see what I mean.
I see. So the admissions process is like more based on your performance and your numbers rather than like maybe like the coaches do play like a small part in connections, but it's like mainly based on your performance.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Dash. Please, Dash, click the backstage button so that you can go back to the backstage. And next team, join us on the main stage, please.
Hello, everyone. We are Intro Up. Few things are scarier than exposing yourself to judgment. Interviews are tough. That's why we created Intro Up, an AI-powered platform that lets you practice interviews without the pressure. Meet Nathan. He applied to all his dream schools, but despite his excellent grades and academic achievements, his interview skills were holding him back. Anxiety and lack of preparation caused him fail multiple college interviews. What about his parents? Oh, they are super disappointed. Nathan's story is all too common. Every year, thousands of applicants miss out on opportunities because of anxiety and lack of practice. Traditional education rarely equips students with the communication and public speaking skills needed to succeed.
That's where Intro Up comes in, powered by an advanced AI language analysis model. Intro Up offers realistic mock interviews and instant feedback. What makes us truly unique is how everything comes together in action. When users enter our platform, they first choose the type of interview they want to practice. The camera is optional, so users can turn it on or off. Below, they see the questions. The AI asks the first question out loud and gives the user time to answer. Once the user finishes answering, they click Next Question. This continues until all questions are completed. And at the end, the user clicks Finish Interview. The platform then automatically gives feedback and a suggested answer for each question. So far, we have reached 98 leads, which shows strong interest and demand, and we are excited to keep growing. We are entering an emerging market where AI-driven solutions are revolutionizing professional training. However, existing options such as Skillway and Interview either rely on rigid scripts, generic templates, or worse, monetize user data without delivering real value. Intro Up is different. Our platform engages users in real-time conversations, provide a variety of fields, including college admissions, job applications, internships, and STEM programs. Our platform offers instant, detailed feedback on vocal tone and knowledge, helping users improve every aspect of their interview performance. Additionally, users can track their progress through a personalized dashboard and download comprehensive feedback reports, all designed to help them nail the perfect interview.
Looking ahead, we're developing premium features to boost the user experience. By the end of 2025, we plan to launch voice and video recording with secure cloud storage, form partnerships with colleges and educational platforms for tailored interview training. Also, we plan to introduce an AI avatar designed to enhance behavioral coaching. The launch will be supported by a targeted marketing campaign with a strong focus on social media platforms. To support our growth over the next 2 quarters, we are seeking $30,000. 75% of funds will be dedicated to development, with the remaining 25 allocated to marketing and outreach. IntroUp offers flexible subscription options. A free plan providing 3 mock interviews with full functionality, perfect for testing the platform. A monthly subscription at $12.99 for unlimited interviews. And a credit-based pay-per-use plan starting at $3.99 for 2 credits, with no expiration and ideal for occasional users.
And now back to the story. Thanks to consistent practice and precise feedback, Nathan transformed his interview skills and is now receiving multiple offers from top colleges. On top of that, he made his parents super proud of him. And now, thousands more will be ready as well. Our team combines diverse skills and backgrounds, giving us a unique advantage to revolutionize interview preparation for all applicants. Let's prep smart and impress fast with IntroUp. Thank you.
Before I can ask more questions, I felt like I was missing some of the kind of core pieces of the pitch. So first, like, what's your total addressable market? What's your target customer, ideal customer? I think it's about college interviews or admissions interviews, but I'm not 100% sure. So, just really trying to understand the opportunity size and impact and like what customers you're building your MVP for.
So it's a relatively growing market driven by high demand for interview prep due to anxiety and lack of practice. And also our MVP is made by our technical teammates Rowan, and also our MVP includes AI analysis, speech patterns to content to assess vocal tone and the depth of answers for knowledge. Accuracy is ensured by continuous model refinement and validation against successful interview benchmarks.
So sorry to interject, but do you have any hard numbers you could share with us? I think that's what me and the other judges are looking for. It's okay if you don't have now, but just also suggesting to add that to your pitch, because I think that would be really important.
We have 98 leads. We offer fully functional free tire for testing to drive conversions, and we will use targeted outreach and demonstrate value from the detailed feedback and progress tracking to encourage paid subscriptions to gain some clients.
Thanks. So we'll pass it to another judge for questions, but I think in terms of hard numbers, not just your leads, just like it would be real important to do some research and look at the kind of total addressable market, for college students, interviews, etc.
We will collaborate with college admissions, and our roadmap plan to 2025 is actually include that.
I have a question about how does this, what is the competitive advantage of your app? Because I feel like in my experience, like if I need to practice something or like practice for interview or like if I want to practice like foreign language, I usually just go to like ChatGPT and I can like prompt them with specific things that I want to practice, and I can give them a very like detailed prompt to like prepare me for this interview that has these types of questions, or like look up these types of questions for like what are the most common questions. And I feel like and that's like that might be a little like less friction for me to just go to ChatGPT and help ask it for help. So I'm curious, like, what is your competitive advantage and what makes the user want to use IntroUp instead of something that's more generic?
So ChatGPT is a very general tool, but our platform is focuses only on interviews. And the second advantage is that we can, like, users can practice interviews in a live format. As it was like shown on the video. And in that way, they can feel the real process of interview. But as for ChatGPT, like, for example, if users ask questions, then like, they will have time to answer, right? Like, they can text their answers after thinking a lot. But as for our platform, we need to answer as in the real interview situations.
Yeah, also ChatGPT doesn't have like avatars that will interact with you, and this is one of our future plans.
Yeah, also ChatGPT can measure voice tones and depth.
Cool. Any final questions for Interop, if any?
I'm also curious about your long-term vision for this. I feel like there is also a big market around people who are interviewing in the current job market. I don't know if the numbers for those are like bigger than students who are interviewing for colleges. I'm curious if you have like any long-term goals to expand, because I feel like this could also, expand to like people who are interviewing in the job market, because I'm assuming that audience might be bigger.
Yeah, you're right. And but our app offers 4 distinct interview types, not just college admissions interviews. Also, we have STEM interviews, job applications, and many of them. Also, our roadmap is engage with admissions office and career centers to showcase our value. And our plan pilots is integrate with their existing offerings.
All right. Thank you, Interop. Let's bring the next team up.
Hello, judges. Today, I am so excited to introduce you to FasterPass, your personal theme park day planner. But before we get started, let's meet Bob. Bob and his family, like thousands of families from around the world, plan to go to Disneyland. They spend hundreds of dollars and travel thousands of miles. Also, they can have the magical experience of a lifetime. But when they get there, what do you think they find? Lines, so many lines. That night, Bob and his family go home, not feeling magical, but feeling disappointed, like they wasted all of their time and money because, well, they kind of did. Unfortunately, as it turns out, Bob and his family aren't alone. From a typical 8-hour visit, the average Disneyland guest spends a whopping 4 to 5 hours just waiting in line. That is a massive chunk of time spent doing nothing, and that's where we come in. Here at FasterPass, we aim to solve that problem by optimizing your theme park route and guiding you through your trip. All you have to do to begin is just select the park you're going to out of the various parks we support, like Disneyland. And then after that, just select all the rides you want to go on. You could even choose to go on a ride multiple times if you really want to. After all that's done, just sit back and relax, as our map will guide you throughout your trip, automatically pointing you to the next ride. If you're done with the ride, just click Mark as completed, and we'll guide you to the next one. All of this is possible because of our custom AI algorithm. That algorithm, trained on historical ride wait times, optimizes your route to minimize waiting, and on average, saves 1 to 2 hours. Just think about that, judges. That can be an extra 4 rides for Bob and his family. We use both past data and live data to come up with these accurate predictions. Based on past data, we have a rough estimate of what the wait times are going to be for a ride, and then we use live data sourced from Theme Park Wiki to get an even better idea of these wait times, and also to adapt in case of abnormalities like a ride closing down. Say Bob and his family want to go on 3 rides. We know the rough wait times for these rides, so we know when they're going to be at a minimum. Taking into account other factors like the walking time between these rides, we generate the best possible path for Bob. What's special about this is that we're the only ones doing this. Not Disney, not Universal, it's just us. But that's not the only advantage we have over our competitors. Unlike other theme park guides like touringplans.com, we offer live guidance. through our apps and update based on real-time data.
We're also going against theme park services like Genie Plus, and these do decrease waiting times, but they don't really optimize your route or guide you, instead just letting you go through shorter lines on select rides. They're also often more expensive as you have to pay per person. Costs can vary from $15 to $40. Instead, with Faster Pass, for 24 hours of access to our algorithm, you only have to pay $7.99, and if you plan on going for 2 or 3 days, just buy our weekly pass for $19.99. We do have to spend money on calling our API and customer acquisition, but we still have a profit margin of over 50% on both passes. To show that our product has real demand, in about 1 week, we've already had 25 customers, which translates to a whopping $294 in sales. To further strengthen and improve our unique value proposition, we plan to focus on a few main areas. First, we'll continue refining our algorithm to improve wait time predictions and help users save up to 2 to 3 hours in the parks. We also aim to expand our coverage by adding at least 10 new major parks globally. Next, we plan to launch a referral program and kick off influencer marketing, targeting popular theme park creators on YouTube to help drive user growth. After that, we'll partner with U.S. travel agencies, offering them special referral benefits to help us reach even more visitors directly. We're the team to make this happen because we're passionate theme park enthusiasts with diverse experience in tech, marketing, and sales. But above all, we're driven by a shared mission to help every guest have the best possible experience at the parks. To turn our visions into reality, we are asking for $75,000. $30,000 for marketing so we can ramp up our influencer marketing program and get more paid ads on social media platforms like YouTube. We will also use another $30,000 for operations to maintain our product and to improve our AI algorithm. And finally, just for safety, we're going to allocate the remaining $15,000 for legal and insurance so we can continue building our business. In conclusion, most people waste 4 to 5 hours standing in line and end up missing their favorite rides. Our product helps solve that by minimizing wait times, which makes the experience way more fun, smoother, and easier. And with real traction, we know that people are willing to pay to enjoy more rides on their next visit. Thank you, and let's give theme park visitors the magical experience they deserve.
Have you guys heard of Clear? Are seeing Clear at the airports?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you basically like thinking, generally speaking, that it's kind of like that where it's like fast tracking at like streamlining the processes of like I guess specifically like how are you thinking about this in terms of like the not the scale of it but like the general user experience, because I think in my head when I think of like fast tracking stuff, every park has its own reasons like why things are slow. They have their own like things. Like at some places you can get the fast pass, and some places you can't. It's very hyper specific. So like, and then Clear kind of made it so that at every airport it's kind of like a unified experience. So do you have like thoughts in general around how you envision it?
So currently, right now, we support the 3 Universal parks in the United States, 2 in Florida, 1 in California, and every Disney World park and every Disneyland park. We plan to expand to more parks as we continue on. And then we need to train the algorithm to each park, which doesn't take too long. We use data from over 250 historical rides and historical data. And yeah.
Can I just ask a quick follow-up question on that? Why did you choose the most trafficked, like the biggest parks in the world versus, for example, trying to look at the like ones that are a little bit offshoot? Like, for example, in Wisconsin, there's this thing called Kalahari, and it's super, super popular, like for like locals. Why are you choosing some like parks that kind of already have extreme operations versus like arbitrage in smaller parks where there's more room to experiment and stuff?
So, yeah, that's a great point. We plan to expand to those smaller parks, but what we looked at is the sheer size of amount of people these giant parks get a day. It was just for Disney World alone, it's around 150,000 people every day. So it's just rather we're going for a larger market. But eventually we do plan to scale to these smaller parks, which will, of course, allow us to get more locals, et cetera, et cetera.
And any other questions for FastPass?
Yeah, I have a couple. I think one would also, similar to the last pitch, would like to see some numbers around like opportunity size, total addressable market. Is that growing? What percentage do you want to capture? And then I think one main question that comes to me, right? Sort of what Kaya brought up too. It's like you're targeting these really big established parks that have their own apps already that are free. So I'm trying to what really is kind of your competitive advantage, right? Theme parks are so expensive. I think I went to Disney a year ago and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so expensive, to visit, et cetera. And then what is going to kind of incentivize someone to pay that extra $8 for one day or $20 for a week when they have these other free resources?
What we compare it to is the fast passes, the flash passes at Six Flags, the Genie Plus, etc. Like all those Bane passes, we frame it as we are an itinerary guiding agent where we don't just guide, we guide the user compared to these other apps where they don't have live maps, they don't have updating maps. It's almost kind of like Waze in a sense where you get more data in, it'll redirect you, a little pop-up that says re-optimize. And then we are able to be cheaper than these passes. So that's where I think a lot of our sales has come from, is that we offer a very similar time saving ratio with the added guiding feature. Because the Genie Plus for Disney, for example, only works on 3 rides a day, unless you buy an extra $20 ride add-on, which not many people want to do.
Yeah, and I just want to add on, because many of the people who are going to these theme parks have also like spent like $500 to like thousands of dollars on tickets, food, and travel, and like spending like $8 on like a day pass or any pass, saving up to 1 to 2 hours and hitting 2 to 4 more rides is like, it's like a no-brainer at that point after spending so much money. And compared to like Genie Plus, and like as Griffin said, Genie Plus is a lot more expensive.
Thanks. You mentioned real-time, that you gather real-time data. How are you doing that?
So there's a free API, which sounds insane, but it's a free API called themeparks.wiki. It has live data from over 99 theme parks, over 100 theme parks, that gives you the live data. And then we use the historical data that's built into our algorithmic API that we got from all of this historical charts, total ride times from years in the past, genetic algorithms to make these itineraries almost as best as they can be, predictive modeling, simulated annealing, which are a bunch of technical terms for some of the AI techniques we use. And yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, just to add on to that. The data that we got, that's from the historical data. It's not scraped from any of Disney's websites, and we don't claim to be affiliated with Disney. Just to avoid any legal trouble, we scraped all the historical data from a third-party website.
Great. Thank you, FastPass. You can go back to the backstage, please. And let's welcome the next team.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah, and this is True Circle, helping adults make real connections with real people. After college, making friends becomes hard. It's really hard. 1 in 5 adults feel alone on a daily basis. We're more connected than ever, yet lonelier. Meet Jason. He has a good job and a nice apartment, but his evenings are quiet. No one to share the small moments that make life worth living. Then Jason tried True Circle. He walked into his local cafe, bracing for awkward small talk. Instead, he remembered what it feels like to belong. For the first time in ages, Jason laughed. He left knowing he'd found his circle. Introducing True Circle. True Circle creates intentional connections. We match adults and bring them together. Because in-person friendships shouldn't be this hard to find. So, what makes True Circle different? It's open to all adults, so no exclusivity. We match people into small groups of 3 to 5 to create a low-pressure feel. We use smart matching based on location and availability, and we keep it affordable. So how do you make moments like Jason at scale? Let's show you how it works. You create an account, verify it, and then you answer a few questions for a short survey. And then once you're done, you press complete survey. And then you enter your current location. And then you choose cafe or restaurant. You select your age preferences, what Saturday you want to meet, what time you want to meet, and the distance. And it's that easy. You can start chatting right away. This is how we'll make money. We're starting with free meetups to build a consumer base. And after that, we'll introduce a monetization model. We will partner with venues and charge 10% of what venues make per customer. Based on average costs for casual dining, this is about $3 per customer, and for cafes, this is about $1.50. We're also finalizing a user subscription tier for $5 a month, offering RSVP priority, enhanced matching, and exclusive features. We've already seen the potential. With 0 paid advertising, we reached our first 24 active users organically. We also had 8 matches and 32 leads. Based on our research of the Bay Area, we expect to onboard 70 venues and 2,000 users in 6 months. And there's a real demand for this. 27% of young adults aged 19 to 29 experience chronic loneliness. We see a massive underserved market in real-world social connection.
TrueCircle is built to scale, starting locally, expanding city by city, and building authentic communities powered by tech. However, let's see who else is in this field. Unlike TrueCircle, our competition such as Meetup, Bumble BFF, and Time Left are invite-only, unorganized, expensive, and limited to big cities. Looking ahead, in the third quarter of 2025, we will implement Verif and Twilio into our web app to enhance security and verification. In the fourth quarter, we'll pursue targeted marketing and promotions within the Bay Area. In the first quarter of 2026, we'll begin partnering with cafes and restaurants to secure trusted, welcoming venues for our meetups. So to bring this vision to life, we need $80,000. 62.5% will be used on app development to improve features, scalability, and performance. 12.5% will be used on testing and marketing to improve awareness, increase users, and ensure a smooth, bug-free experience. 25% will be used on design and user experience to create a professional, intuitive interface that builds trust and keeps users engaged. We are a team of high schoolers who want to help adults grow their social circles. Our team strives to help adults meet others they are missing out on. For Jason, one small meetup changed everything. He finally felt seen. He belonged. And there are millions more like him. They deserve what Jason found. They deserve to feel valued. They deserve their circle. We have an affordable model for both users and businesses. We are also creating small, safe, in-person meetups for adults who want to meet new people. Thank you, and let's build real connections, one circle at a time.
With any sort of community, especially where you're connecting strangers, meeting up in real life, changing information, I think trust and safety is a really big concern. Kind of curious how you plan to address this. And then, this is also something quite expensive to solve. So curious about how you're going to address this and do you mitigate risks here? And then how you're going to address this as your platform scales.
Yeah, so we consider this safe because we prioritize public venues like restaurants and cafes. And additionally, we are currently implementing Verif, which is something that you can use to view users' personal documentations like ID, so we can verify them before they can use our app. And Twilio will allow us to verify their phone numbers, so we can also make sure that no one is creating false accounts. And additionally, all of the user data is encrypted, so our meetups will not be taken advantage of, and the information is safe within our databases.
And in the future, we plan to implement a trust meter, and people can add to their meter when they do more trustworthy things, such as verifying their email and their phone number.
I have a question about how you're making money. So I guess one revenue stream is from the user themselves who have to pay for this, and then you mentioned that you'll partner with businesses as well. Are you charging the businesses to like opt in to this program? Or like what is like benefit for them versus like how much are they paying you?
Yeah, so we are sending users to the venues and restaurants, so that's how we will be helping them. And currently, businesses like Uber Eats charge about 15% per delivery. So we think that 10% per customer would be a reasonable price for these venues. And yeah, that's.
And also, we will help to new businesses attract and give traction to new customers. So people who will have meetings, they will meet in new restaurants and know about this restaurant too.
I see. So will you so the users can only kind of be able to visit a certain list of venues that have opted into this app?
Yeah, so we have a Google Maps integration where they can find local restaurants and cafes, and they can join whichever one that they want.
Okay, so it's they can join basically any venue, not just the ones that opt into TrueCircle.
So right now, like our venues we have unlimited venues, but once we gather enough customers and users, we'll then be able to partner with venues because they'll see the potential users that we can bring them. So once we get those venues on board with us, then we'll be only limiting the options to those venues.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Great. Any final questions?
I have one more. I think this is kind of parallel for any sort of matching apps, especially dating apps. You know, the algorithm and what's behind that is really important. How are you? I guess what makes this match special, right? You know, are you using interest or, you know, what sets you apart? I think for your competitors, right, people are like, let's just use Meetup, people are opting into kind of a shared experience. But I saw the quick demo and the onboarding, and it seems kind of high level. Like, how do you ensure this is a good match and you actually have retention for this?
So our first priority is that they live close to each other. And the second is that they want to meet up at the same restaurant at the same time. And the third, we will match them with similar personality traits so that they can get along.
So when users sign up, we have a quick survey that they fill out. And our matching system is all like entirely logic based. So based on the inputs of users and like what restaurants they want to visit, their personality, what kind of music they like. We will try to match users based on those. And it's a minimum of like one of those three questions on the survey must be similar as a minimum, but our algorithm will try to match them with like more than one of those if possible, but there's a minimum of one.
And then is there a way for users to give feedback and kind of input into the algorithm if that actually was a successful match? Yeah, I guess it's like, how do you know that it was a good match or a bad match, and then continue to fine tune the preferences in your product?
That's not something we have at the moment, but we can definitely get that in as soon as possible.
Great. Thank you very much, TrueCircle. And thank you, judges. Now we have the last team. So the last team, please join us on stage and let's start.
Hello. Today, we will be talking about our chewing gum cleaning kit, Gumby. This is Arna, one of the co-founders of Gumby.
She was getting ready for her school graduation and realized she got gum on her gown. This was her only gown, and graduation was in less than an hour. Arna needed a quick solution, and the dish soap and water did little to remove the gum. While Arna's story was a personal nightmare, it turns out she's far from alone. A student group brought to light this issue at a larger scale. According to Lemelson MIT, a test in high school, students counted over 34,000 pieces of gum stuck all around campus. Even their brand new building already has nearly 1,000 pieces. Gum machines are extremely expensive, and most schools cannot afford such an investment. This gum litter issue is actually much larger than most think. Globally, gum is the second most littered item, second only to cigarette butts. According to World Economic Forum, in the US, over $200 million is spent to clean up discarded gum. This is why we created GumBuy, a simple, safe, and effective gum removal kit for everyday people. This is what the GumBuy kit looks like. It includes a gum cleaning solution, a metal scraper, and nitrile gloves.
Usually one of the most annoying things to get gum off of. GumBuy shortens the time to remove the gum by a great deal. After leaving the solution on the gum for around 3 minutes, then scraping, it comes off with minimal work, as you can see in the video. Here's a before and after once we let it dry. It looks like it was never there. However, it is important to acknowledge that GumBuy is not alone in trying to ungum the world. GumBuy has two main competitors in the residue eliminator field, but as you can see on this table here, they pale in comparison to GumBuy. Unlike Spray Away and Goo Gone, GumBuy is made with non-toxic chemicals. Also, it is made specifically to remove gum, ensuring it is effective. Apart from its competitors, GumBuy is residue-free and fast-working, both of which are important in a pinch. GumBuy has guaranteed results, is surface safe, and has no harsh chemicals, meaning it is safe for everyday use and in careful environments such as schools. And it works in minutes, perfect when you're in a rush. To show that we have real interest, from only June 30th to July 7th, we made 16 sales. Our selling price for GumBuy is just $9.99, which comes with the GumBuy solution, the scraper, and the pair of gloves. This gives us a profit margin of $3.18 for each kit sold, which is 32%. In less than a week, GumBuy has earned a revenue of $160, including 16 sales. Our team is fit for this product because as students, we find gum all over school, and with our development, marketing, and networking skills, we have the resources and means to bring this business to a huge success.
In the future, we want to scale our business with the intention of selling internationally. By August of 2025, we will refine the formula, packaging, and instructions. This means we will explore higher quality ingredients and increase the effectiveness of the formula. By October of this year, we will expand our marketing plan to include paid advertisements and demonstrations. By January of next year, we plan to begin large-scale production and explore B2B sales. To accomplish these goals, we are asking for an investment of $80,000. Here's how we will use it. We will spend 36% of this towards product costs, which includes buying materials and ingredients. 20% will go towards operating costs, which includes labor. 28% will go towards marketing, so paid advertisements and demonstrations. 16% will go towards other aspects, such as legalities and inventory. In conclusion, chewing gum is the second most common urban litter and is a much larger issue than it seems. GumBuy is a residue-free solution that cleans gum in minutes on any surface. We made 16 sales in a week, earning a revenue of $160. In the future, we will work towards higher quality packaging, scaling up, and expanding. Thank you. Together, let's say goodbye to gum with GumBuy.
Is the picture you added there, that's real?
Yeah, that's a real photo for product.
You have it?
I do. I can, or Anaga, can you get it? Cause you.
Yeah, I have it over here. Wait, here's the carpet sample.
And then, where's the product?
The product. Wait, give me one.
If you don't have it,
it's fine. I don't have it right now.
Sorry?
I don't have it right now. Do you have it? I think.
Yeah. So this is the box, and then inside.
And you made the formulation?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to do that?
It took a couple days to get the formula right after a lot of testing, and then we had to make it physically, of course.
Okay, so my question is, if it took you a couple days to create the formulation, what about it is something that like somebody can't make? Like why does it need to be productized? Because like that one company that you shared, the one with the red logo, I'm actually very familiar with that one because my mom is like a super super clean freak, and she has like bottles and bottles, like she has her own like store basically, and that's like something that she can't live without, that brand's glass cleaner. So I'm just curious, like, how is it that you make your solution something people can't live without if it's something like you made in a couple days, seemingly?
I can answer this. So, our formula it might not be able to compare with Sprayway, but in the future we are going to focus on getting the formula right, and we are focusing on making it more effective. And also ours is focusing on mainly like harmless chemicals, and we're trying to be environmentally conscious, so it helps in that aspect.
I think that didn't really answer the question. If it's okay, like, can you try answering the question one more time? It's okay. Like, you're gonna probably struggle, and that's like the point of this. So just if you look at the before and after photo, right? Like, it's actually really good. You guys did a really good job of cleaning the gum thing here, right? And it's really cool that you made the formulation and were able to do that. Does it seem to you like there's more advancement to be done on your solution, or do you think it's potentially actually quite effective and any additional advancement might not be worth paying more for? Like how do you think about that?
I can answer that. I think like the part of the effectiveness, I think it's, as you said, like it is fine, but like maybe we can more focus on the user experience, because like, like the other products like Goo Gum, they smell bad and like they have kind of this oily texture. So I think we need to more focus on that. And this is why we're currently doing so. For example, our product is more in a gel-based form. So it's not like leaves an oily residue, and smells good, obviously.
I have a question about testing for this product. I know a lot of these like cleaning products or like food products, they go through like very rigorous testing. And I'm curious if that will be like factored into your costs. And like I wonder like if, because it's going to be used probably in schools or like by janitors in like the house, I feel like there needs to be kind of a sort of standard around testing. And I don't know like what is like the like FDA or like the standard for testing. But yeah, curious if that is something you will factor into your cost.
Right. So I think that part of it would factor under the operating cost section, which takes into account just like focusing on like labor, and then also we could use some of the other, which includes legality, so we can make sure that it's actually able to be distributed legally.
I see.
I have a question more so on kind of your target customer. I know you mentioned, expanding into B2B in the future, but right now I'm trying to understand, okay, who would buy this and why, right? Is it janitorial staff who already need to clean? Is it just individuals or students who see gum and they want to clean it up, like, and if so, like, what's the incentive for these people to clean up gum in their free time? So any clarity there would be helpful.
So I can answer. So our main target market right now is like young parents who have children, because there's always like spills in household where there's gum stuck everywhere. So it would just be helpful to have that product around.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, the reason I was asking it is just because in the beginning of the pitch, kind of we were talking about how it's the most littered item, et cetera, and pushing on students. But then, I think what you're saying as a target makes a lot of sense. So maybe just connecting that a bit more would be helpful, or anchoring on that, right?
Okay, any final questions for Ganbai? Okay, thank you very much, Ganbai. All right, here's what's gonna happen. So myself and the judges will go back to the backstage so that they can discuss what they heard. They will. I will remind you that they will choose 2 titles: best pitch, the most storytelling, the best storytelling, and most outstanding company, which is the company that, in comparison to others in their own industry, has accomplished the most or something excellent, exemplary in these 4 weeks. Okay. So, judges, there's a button in the lower right that says Enter Backstage. Click it, and I'll see you there. Oh, great. The judges have come to a consensus. There's white smoke coming out of the Lingap headquarters. So, this is the first year that we have an all-female judge panel, and I feel like this is what we've been working up to, in the entire tech industry in general, because this is like a reflection of what the tech industry is like, right? So I'm very proud and thankful to these judges that are here sharing their valuable time to us, because, they have their companies to run. They have their own jobs. So they are really giving their precious time to you, Lingap students, and I just really want to thank them again for that. Okay, so Kristen is going to do the honors of announcing the 2 teams that will hold the titles for Lingap Online 2025, and after that, each judge will share some wisdom with you all.
So first, before I announce, just wanted to give a huge shout out to both Kay and Cindy for being on the panel with me, and then also just, congratulate all of you on completing, 4 weeks with Lingap. It takes a lot of, motivation, bravery, and risk to put yourself out there and build something in the real world, research, talk to people. Even though the pitches are short, like it's so clear how much work and effort and blood, sweat, tears you put in behind the scenes. So just huge congratulations to all of you. I know we asked you some tough questions and grilled you, but part of that is because we want to simulate what VCs and other angel investors or your customers are going to ask you in the real world. So we're just pushing you to learn and do your best. So all of you should feel so proud of yourselves for taking that risk as entrepreneurs and building something. And so without further ado, I wanted to share that the most outstanding award goes to Ganbai. All of us as judges were in clear agreement that this was the most outstanding product. We loved how simple, clear, and concise the pitch was, solving a real world problem. When we asked to see the product and the results, you showed it to us. It's fantastic. We've been commenting, hey, if we need to clean up some gum, we would buy this. So just really, really incredible job. And then for the second award, the best pitch, and we were also in unanimous agreement that goes to the Dash app team. We really thought this pitch, holistically came together and you hit clear categories, right? What the app does, what sets it apart, total addressable market, opportunity size, right? What is that problem? Where do you, stand out from other folks? Why are you the best team? So that was kind of the most cohesive pitch. So thank you again and huge, huge congratulations. Now we're going to take a few minutes for us to go in terms of give feedback just to all of you, since this is a learning experience. And I think first, just want to encourage you to keep experimenting and building. My background is in product management. And I think one of the things I worked at Twitch a long time ago, and one of the biggest things I took away was experiment to decide. I think we all love that you went out, you pitched your products, you used them, you showed us real customer numbers. You made money. That's a big deal. How many people can say they built something and made money? And I would say that is the quickest way to get feedback. So keep approaching with that experimental mindset. Also with my product hat on, I can't, emphasize the importance of that user research and quick iteration. Just get out there in the real world, talk to customers. I think so many times I see, from big companies to small companies, people get stuck in analysis paralysis. Like, oh, we got to build the best thing, or this has to be perfect. In startup world or even in company world, done is better than perfect. Like, go out there and get that, feedback and talk to your customers. And don't just listen to what they say. I would say, dig deep. Like, don't listen to it at surface level. Dig deep and look at the root problem. Like, you don't want to just put a Band-Aid. Like, what is that root problem? And don't be afraid to pivot and experiment. So yeah, thank you again. I'll pass it on to Kaya to give some life lessons and advice.
Thanks, Kristen. I want to echo what Kristen said. If there's one takeaway that I could provide all of you with that I hope that you remember over and over and over again, like a mantra, is solve real problems. Like, solve real problems. And that's really it, because I think at the end of the day, we came to a very quick consensus that I've been part of LeanGet for 10 years now. This was probably the quickest consensus that at least I remember. And for me, I think it really does also come down to the clarity that the Gumby team had on the problem they were solving. And the approach then becomes a lot clearer as well, because there are a lot of different ways to solve a problem. But as long as you're extremely clear on the problem you're solving and successfully solving the problem, you pretty much can go from point A, hey, here's the problem we want to solve, to point B, the endpoint of, okay, this is a solution in any way, shape, or form, but those points are very, very clear. So really honoring the process of truly solving a problem people need to be solved in a way that they would actually pay for it is actually a privilege more than anything else. As a founder, it's the biggest privilege of all to earn people's time and money to solve a problem they really need to solve. And, it's the most important piece. It's the fundamental aspect of the founder journey. And I really recommend that you guys all think deeply about that as you move forward with or without the projects that you're currently working on.
Just to tag on to this, thanks everyone for having me here today. It's like my first time doing something like this. I'm an engineer, so I don't really, get to do this very often. But I'm very impressed, first of all, by all the teams, by like how you were able to build out these apps, and like build out the UI, build out like the marketing, and like calculate the cost of everything. So I'm like super impressed. This is like, what like real teams are doing now in like the real world. So yeah, super impressed by that. And then I also want to echo Kristen's point about like analysis paralysis, where I feel like as like an engineer or someone behind the scenes, we're always like looking to build something that's like, oh, this is like really cool, like using really cool technology. It does like this and that and this. But I feel like as an actual user, for example, someone using Pinterest or someone using like any social media app, sometimes we're just like very simple-minded and we're just like browsing or doom scrolling. And I feel like actual users, like they prefer this kind of like little friction and like no thought at all. So I think my kind of advice is to, of course, like analysis is important, but also test out your product with real users and find out what they're thinking, kind of figure out what is like the path of least resistance for them as a user.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Kaya, Cindy, and Kristen, for being here again. Everyone give their thanks to the judges in the chat. I know that there's some amazing messages on the chat about the companies. Thank you for being here for our students. And those things are all for you, judges. I know there's no way that we can repay for your time, because if we did the math, it would be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars per hour. However, the value that you had on our students' lives is just amazing. And that is also something that we cannot pay ever. So thank you very much, judges, for being here. Now, as a thank you and just to say our goodbyes as well, I do have something else that I want to share. So, really, Lingap, in my opinion, is not the students, is not the brand, is not anything in particular, but this, the mentors. The mentors are what makes Lingap amazing. The mentors are what they stay with the students, you working hard and like up until like 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning just to get the pitch right, to get the product right. And we've seen this time and time again. That's also the reason why Lingap is one of the top programs in the world for teenagers, not just for business, but just a place for teenagers to grow, teenagers to explore what is beyond. And that is all thanks to the mentors. So thank you, mentors. They also have their own companies to run. They also have their own jobs. They also have their own lives outside of Lingap. But they take 1 month off each year to do this. And no one can be more grateful than the students and me as well, because they do the hard work. They are the ones that do the heavy lifting. So thank you, mentors, for 2025. Now, to end, summer 2025 is over. Summer 2026 is around the corner. Each year we get at capacity, we reach capacity. Each year we have a long wait list of people that are willing to join, money in hand, but we can't take them because the magic of Lingap is also in its small numbers. The magic of Lingap is in getting to know everyone, in getting to connect one-on-one as well. So while we could get classes of 80, 100 people, you lose connection there. So if you know anyone that would benefit from being here at Lingap, I would encourage them to sign up already to the waitlist now, today, because you don't want to be left out. Trust me, we get thousands of applicants each year, and we can only take 40. So with that said, I encourage you to follow our journey on our Instagram at Lingap. And the San Francisco cohort, the in-person cohort, is starting next Monday in 3 days. So I recommend that if you want to take a deeper look on how it works in person, which is really the same, the output is the same, the content is the same, we just live together. That's it. And I would recommend that you follow our journey and their journey on our Instagram so that you can see what it's like. And so you can also attend the in-person demo day if you wish. This is a public event, and if you're around in August 8th, then you will be able to attend. No worries, okay? We also have an alumni meetup on August 3. So if you are around, feel free to attend during that day as well. Thank you very much again to all the students, all the judges, all the mentors. It's been a pleasure to have this summer with you. It's been a wild ride. It's been a fun ride. It's been a hard ride too. I'm tired, bro. I'm tired. So let's all take a break this weekend. Let's relax before we go on with our daily lives. And it's been amazing. Thank you for the wild ride, guys. We see you next year, okay? Bye.